Hong Kong racing has dealt with Covid-19 as well as any sporting competition in the world, but the Jockey Club will be put to the ultimate test during International Week. I sat down with SCMP racing editor Tom Biddington to discuss the many moving parts of a Hong Kong international races that promises to be like no other. Tom, we're here to discuss not only the 4 Group 1s at Sha Tin on Sunday, but also the wild ride the Jockey Club's been on to get to this point at a time when Covid-19 means the goalposts are constantly shifting. Look, there's been plenty happening and no doubt there's plenty more water to go under the bridge before we get to the races on Sunday.
Yeah, but it's a great thing we're even here. Things have changed so much. There's a 4th wave in town, which is difficult to manage. At the start of the season, we thought we might get 16,000 people to the races on Sunday. Instead, we're going to have about 275. But we've still got the races on, and that's a huge win. And
the Jockey Club proved again on the weekend that they have the ability to be agile when a chef tested positive to COVID, and they had to move some members around in the Sha Tin dining room. So that was a very positive sign moving forward.
Yeah, they've proven they're very capable of doing this. They did it last week when Jack Wong and Dylan Moe, the jockeys, found out they had a positive in their building. They were stood down from the races immediately. And even when you go back to the Christophe Soumillon situation, when he tested positive in the Breeders' Cup in America, he was meant to be at the IJC. They obviously put a line through that and adapted, but he's still coming here to compete at HKAR. He's tested negative, he's done his 2 weeks full quarantine, and he'll be there to ride on Sunday.
And all this has been made possible by the quarantine bubble that the government have granted the Jockey Club, which will see international participants move between their quarantine hotel and Sha Tin.
Yeah, it's the most significant part of the whole event, the support of the government. Without this bubble, we wouldn't have the horses here, we wouldn't have the jockeys here and the trainers and the marfoos and all that sort of stuff. So the fact they're able to continue to go about their work while staying isolated from the community is a massive result.
And on race day, again, I guess one of the main challenges is going to be keeping those international jockeys separate from the local guys?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of protocols that are now being put in place. The jockeys, there's a separate jockeys room for the internationals compared to the locals. The trainers will be isolated, as will the marfoos. Even though they'll all have been tested negative, repeatedly, and if there's any issue, they certainly won't be there. But it's all about sort of protecting the look and making sure everyone's safe.
And I'd suggest it's probably best case turnout for the horses that we've managed to attract from overseas. 3 runners from Maiden O'Brien, some Japanese superstars in there, and look, the racing on Sunday looks like it's going to be just about as good as ever.
Yeah, well, certainly as good as we could have hoped for given the circumstances. We've also got up-and-coming sprint from Singapore and a couple of French horses as well, so there's a real global flavour to it.
And no doubt there's going to be some logistical challenges that present themselves this week, and as there is on the racetrack, there's still a few balls in the air, particularly in the Hong Kong sprint with Classique Legend and Inferno both in some doubt.
I wouldn't necessarily say doubt, but they probably won't be at their absolute best. We had a terrible situation on Monday morning when Perfect Match broke down badly, so he's out, unfortunately. And Classique Legend, look, he's a different sort of kettle of fish. Because he's not here as an import, he's here as a Hong Kong horse. He's had to go through a whole different set of hoops. He has to go through his inoculations, a full quarantine, had to get branding, and he's had to adjust to a new set of stables. So unlike the international horses who fly in here for a week or so and fly out, he's had a full preparation. He hasn't raced since the Everest, so it's he won't be 100%, but does he need to be to win this race?
Well, that's a good question. I guess at the other end of the scale, we have Hot King Prawn, who's had a very solid build-up under the watchful eye of the master John Size. And look, he was runner-up in the race last year, and it doesn't look to be any reason he can't go one better if Classique Legend's a little bit off his game.
No, he's as close to a benchmark horse as there is in Hong Kong. He's so consistent, he always runs so well. Still looking for that elusive Group 1, but he certainly gets his chance here. He's the best of the leading local hopes.
My word. And turn to the mile where Golden 60 looks to land that Group 1, first Group 1 win, and he'll have to overcome the reigning mile champion in Admire Mars. Aidan O'Brien's Group 1 winner, Order of Australia, and the old Hong Kong champ, I guess, in Beauty Generation.
Yeah, Golden 60 is certainly the one. He's the poster boy for this event. He's won 10 in a row. He swept the 4-year-old series last year. He's just a genuine homegrown hero. This can be his crowning glory. He can be the best horse in Hong Kong if he wins this race, and everything suggests he should. But it is a really good race. Like, there's a lot of Group 1 winners. You spoke about those sort of horses. I'll throw in Waikuku. I'll throw in Southern Legend. It's really, really good. Roman Eyes is another Group 1 winner. It's a really good race, and if he is going to win, he's going to event it.
And in the Cup, we have Winbright trying to make it 3 from 3 at Sha Tin at Group 1 level. He meets Aidan O'Brien's 3-time Group 1 winner Magical and the best of the local hopes Furor, who comes in off consecutive group wins in the build-up.
Yeah, it's amazing Winbright hasn't just moved to Hong Kong. He loves it here. He goes so much better here than he does in Japan. He's going to be right in the race again. Magical's obviously the one to beat. She's a 7-time Group 1 winner, just a genuine global superstar. Scaletti's a really interesting horse, the French runner. He beat Magical home in the British Champion Stakes last start. And then we've got those Japanese runners as well in Danone Premium, Normcore. It's it's an interesting race even with a small field.
Certainly is, and the Vase shapes potentially as a race in two, with Hong Kong running Horse of the Year Exultant, who won the race in 2018, and of course another Aidan O'Brien Group 1 winner in Mogul.
Yeah, I'll go 2.5. I'll give a half chance to Columbus County. He's a horse on the up and Joe Moreira's riding, so I won't rule him out completely, but certainly it looks like a race between two. An Exultant who's not quite at the peak of his powers, but still very, very good, and Mogul, who was meant to run in the Arc de Triomphe but had that feed issue. So we'll see how they go.
Fantastic, Tom. Thank you for joining me here, and look, no doubt there's going to be plenty of action both on and off the track at this week's Hong Kong International Races.